Simon Gault joins me live in the studio. And good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Very nice to see you. We were discussing how to cook the best steak because, as I was telling off here, I'm trying to pretend to be healthy by cooking steak and mixed vegetables and putting it directly into my Tupperware containers and freezing it and then nuking the hell out of them in the microwave, and it tastes absolutely disgusting.
Yes, I should imagine it probably does.
I can't believe I just told you that. Is there actually a decent way to cook a steak where you can, I'm sorry to ask you this, but I'm going to ask you this, where you can freeze it or not really?
Not really. I think you can freeze meat that has been turned into a casserole. You can get away with freezing that, but a steak that's cooked...
I'm out to lunch, am I?
Yeah.
Listen, it's a decent book. I want to ask you the question... It's basically a take on various foods internationally. Why now? What's different about this book and the other books you've put out?
This is classics.
It's beautifully produced.
Thank you. It's a book. So over the years, I've cooked all around the world in lots of different countries: Philippines, Thailand, Mexico, Alaska, Italy, Spain. So the list goes on, and all those countries have classics. And if I mention Italy, we all know classics from Italy, don't we? Spaghetti bolognese, spaghetti carbonara, cannelloni, lasagna, and so it goes on. So what I've done is I've taken all my favourite classics from around the world, including good old fish and chips from New Zealand, pies and roast chicken and roast lamb, and put my spin on it, given it my 5% magic, so that when you cook this food at home, you stand out from the crowd.
What is your 5% magic? Because obviously it's working because you're involved in many restaurants around New Zealand, so you've got it, Simon. So what is your 5% magic involved in this?
Well, with restaurants...
Self-promotion, no, it's fine. No problem with self-promotion.
Okay.
So go for it.
Restaurants, I believe that, 70% of a restaurant is made up of food and wine and service, and 30% might be the decor, the music, the way the toilets are, how easy it was to park. But if that's all working perfectly and all the staff are on form at peak performance, you're at 100%. If the restaurant next door is doing the same thing, how do you differentiate yourself from them? So you've got to find an extra 5%, and I call it the 5% magic. That might be a smile. It might be the coffee was brilliant. It might be that the chef just gave that food that extra loving to make it a little bit different. But it might be that the gin and tonic came with an ice ball that you'd never had before, and you remember it when you leave. So that's what I do with my food, is look for that 5% magic. So I've taken the classics and then I've given it something that you wouldn't expect in there, something that you can talk about at the dinner table because it's interesting, something that will make people remember the roast chicken that you cooked or the spaghetti carbonara, something that they'll go away and they won't forget it because it was so damn good.
Taste is important, but so too is presentation. Because if you don't have the presentation, do you reckon how much part does presentation play, do you think, in the mind of the taste? So if you got something that looks nice, do you think people will think it tastes nice?
We all eat with our eyes. When we first see something, we form an opinion within a second.
That's right.
And that was important to me with the book, is that every dish has a photo and it looks tasty, but it also looks like you can achieve it at home, not that it's so technical. So that was important to me in the book. And then the next thing after eating with your eyes, it's got to taste great, right? And for the sake of a cookbook, you've got to have not too many ingredients. You've got to have ingredients that you can get from the supermarket. That's really important. And, 99% of the recipes in the book, you can buy the recipes from the supermarket. You've got to look at it and think, I can do this. But first, it's got to turn you on. You've got to look at it and go, oh, my God, I want to eat that.
How much part does presentation play for you when you're teaching chefs to cook?
Everything.
Is that the first thing that comes? Because on the program, that was a lot of it was down to presentation first, wasn't it? If it looked sloppy, then it could taste sloppy, regardless of how good it was cooked, yeah?
Yeah, you can get some things that taste phenomenal and they've just got bad presentation skills, and we see that on MasterChef often. However, it is important. Thumb marks on plates, all that sort of thing. Handling a plate where you don't put your thumbs on the edge of it, because there's nothing like, you don't see that in a kitchen, but when it hits the restaurant table, often the lighting, it sticks out like dog's balls and, it looks bad, right? So all those things are important with presentation.
Are we getting better as a country when it comes to creating food that's from other countries? It seems programs like MasterChef and a lot of these cooking programs, we're developing a more diverse taste, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. And chefs travel the world and go and cook in these places and come back. And what do chefs want to do? They want to show off. They've got big egos. And they come back with what they've learnt overseas, and then they start presenting it in our own way here, add our touch to it, and get something that can be uniquely New Zealand, but we've borrowed the cooking techniques from around the world. And that's how we're educating our diners, and certainly food TV has played a big role in that, with people watching now, and they look at stuff on TV and go, I want to try that. And, they're becoming more demanding in restaurants, more demanding of supermarkets, and that's a good thing. I think we grow as a country food-wise with that.
Do you take an active interest in channels like food TV? I find myself watching it and getting hungry and having to walk away and change it back to cable news.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Do you find yourself critiquing some of the things you see?
On TV, yeah. I watch food TV every now and again and see some inspiring things that gets me excited to cook something like that or cook that particular dish. I do enjoy watching food TV when I've got some downtime, which is not often.
You say in this book there'll be something in this book for somebody to create a classic dish that they will enjoy making. What do you mean by that? Is it because what's in this book is so diverse?
No, it's not diverse. It's classic recipes. There's a prawn cocktail in there. There's all the things that we know and understand. But they're dishes that will become part of people's repertoire. I hope this book becomes the Bible that they have, because there's everything in here, from a burger, prawn cocktail. You're flicking through it. You've seen plenty of different things.
I'm feeling very hungry now.
Banoffee pie.
Oh, nice.
You need a Bible in the book. That's it's the new Edmonds cookbook. If I could claim that, I'd be very, very happy.
It's a very big thing to say. Ironically, though, it's a bit of a paradox because you've called it modern classics. Can you have both? Can you have classics that are modern, though?
Yeah, I modernised the classics by putting my twist on them, and it's a sort of book that hopefully you'll write on. You might have.
It's too nice. No, it's too nice.
No,
to write
it's
on.
not. No, you can scribble all over it. You can scribble all over it. Don't leave it sitting on the coffee table, in the kitchen, and write on it. But you might go. You might see a seasoning in here that goes on something and make a note. That would be great on my fish. That would be great on my chicken. You might see the sauce that's with the prawn tacos and you try that and you think, man, I'd love this with my steak off the barbecue, or prawns that are cooked on the barbecue. And you scribble that down as an idea for the future. And that's how it becomes a book that gets handed down to people in time to come.
Well, in the inside cover, you say, learn how to cook the perfect steak. So I'm going to give myself a challenge and get Russ to email the publicist back and let you know how I got on.
I have to be honest, listening to you talk about food, I don't know that there's much hope for the steak.
Actually, I'm too embarrassed. I've actually got my frozen meal in my bag now, and I'm not going to show you. Simon, absolute pleasure to meet you. Thanks so much for coming into the studio here at News Talk ZB.